It's been 3 years since one of the most shocking and devastating moments of my life. And with that time that has passed, I thought it might be appropriate to go over my first video on the channel, the mission statement. And so with that, let's watch it play out, and then afterward we'll talk about where things are.
One month ago, October the 7th, I lost my first biggest fan. My mom died unexpectedly. And even though she was the first person to believe in me, over the years she's not been the only one. I wrote a 68-page graphic novel, Everlasting Survivors. The artist who did the majority of the interiors, his name's Jeff Hicks. He's had some pretty good success on his own, and he once said to me, Oz, there's no reason your project can't be as big as mine. People just need to know you and know about it. And so I'm no longer going to take half measures and think that things are just going to happen on their own. I'm going all in on Gamble Comics, and weekly I'll be here talking to you. Sometimes I might have somebody here to talk with, but I'm here to promote Everlasting Survivors, a 68-page graphic novel that is returning to Indiegogo soon. But in the meantime, I'm here to talk pro wrestling, pop culture, life, just to figure things out, try and make friends and fans and get the word out there. So I'll see you on the next video. The channel's called Mr. Super Oz. I'm Oz.
Clearly, that was a broken man, a heartbroken human, and it's completely understandable because the loss of your mother is, and I don't know if this is true or not, but especially when you don't see it coming. Maybe it's the same pain if you knew it was coming, but I know that when it was unexpected, it hit so hard. But I'll say this about now as opposed to then. There is such a thing to be said about consistency, because the more content I make, the better I believe that it gets as far as being quality and, worth the time to actually watch. And possibly more importantly than that in and of itself is the idea. So 3 years ago, Oz was talking about how that Everlasting Survivors will return to Indiegogo. Well, not only did it, but it was funded the second time around, whereas the first time it was not. And with that, there were 3 new covers that came to pass, along with merchandise such as hats and shirts, all kinds of things that are talked about on the channel regularly. And possibly more important than those developments are the actual human element that came from, I'm going to say partially, the channel existing, because in my 9-to-5 day-to-day job life, I had a friend recommend that I talk to his friend about getting art, and as you, the viewer, know, that has led to Aaron Johnson doing, the art for BC Brute. the soon to come comic from Gamble Comics. And then over this past weekend, Aaron then got me in touch with a person I believe could be the ongoing artist for Grimmau and Lady Reaper, which recently got the Reset Timber treatment for the channel. And by that I mean the reveal of said project. And so it's astonishing to me how at times it seemed like time wasn't moving at all, and that you stay stuck in this moment of pain. But then you open your eyes and you look, and years have passed. And not just years have passed, but things that you had no idea could or would happen are now not only a thing of the past, but seemingly foundational to the future going the way that you want it to go. And with that, it's just, yeah, it's weird that life feels like it can pause and fast forward. It just seems like the only thing you ain't got is rewind at times. And the reason I'm re-going over the mission statement, because the original mission statement to get the word out about Everlasting Survivors and Gamble Comics, it wasn't even articulated correctly. So yes, that's a part of it. That's what the channel exists for. But moreover, and possibly more importantly, the reason the channel exists and the reason that I put out content is to prove what my mom believed to be true. And that is, she believed that I was creative enough to where that these ideas would pay off. And while I can't precisely make all my wrestling dreams come true, although the funny thing is she believed I was already a success in wrestling because I pursued it for the amount of time that I did, and she knew that I had a good time doing so. And the thing I love about her perspective was that the enjoyment you get is the success, which in some ways is true, but what I mean when I say success is creation of fan base. Eventually I would love to at least make back the money I invest, if not make money in addition to the money that I put into it. So, like I said, those are more accurate to the always has been mission of Mr. Super Oz. So, not just to get the word out about Everlasting Survivors, not just to promote the idea that Gamble Comics exists, but to inevitably make back the money that I put into the first project, to make back the money I put into the second, soon to be third and fourth projects. But the mission going forward is to turn a profit. So it's going to be hard because having a website means, maintenance fees and that type of thing. Now, granted, they're not tremendous, so not totally insurmountable, but the point is, as the price of existing goes up, so does the cost of art, and so it will always be imperative that purchases be made from GambleComics.com to continue to be able to put out stories and products. But yeah, that's the true mission right there, is to put out product so as to be able to create more. One day it would be the dream come true if Gamble Comics made enough to where that not only could I live on that money, but also I could help artists make art their full-time job. Because is that not what it's all about? The idea of pursuing the dream and making that dream your exclusive pursuit. And so it's been 3 years, just under a month of 3 years that this channel has existed. And I will say that it has been so rewarding. The idea that I am capable of doing this regular content, whether it be Alpha Entertainment Worldwide with Josiah or movie reviews with Brandon, even the From a Distance stuff with G or Jeff or ETEP, regardless of who has been on the channel or when or what we're doing, the idea that the channel itself can be so alluring to people that they want to be a part of it, it means a lot to me. And I just look forward to checking in again in another 3 years to see how much Gamble Comics has come to be what I've always strived to make it. And that is the fulfillment of my mother's belief in me that I can succeed at what I put my mind to. Again, she was of the perspective that I had already succeeded just because I did wrestle and I did write and produced a graphic novel. But her idea of success and mine were always different because I didn't see doing it, whether it be the wrestling or the graphic novel, as the success, but rather the necessary step to attempt to get to the place of success. Because to me, success is measurable in monetary value. But I will say this, she is right that there is a value in having done whatever it is you set your mind to, whether it be wrestling, where, you know, if not for Mike Shayer, me, T-Lo, G, so many others would have always had that, you know, what if I had pursued my dream mentality, or whether it be the graphic novel, and so many people, whether it be Jeff Hicks or any number of individuals along the process, whether it be letterer, printer, colorist, all these people are so foundational to making the dream a reality that it's worth taking the step of whatever it is you want to pursue. I'll say that for certainty. Whatever it is that you think that, oh, maybe I can't, maybe I shouldn't. No, you can and you should. That's the important thing. So, mission statement revisited is me saying that the mission for Gamble Comics isn't just to get the word out about Everlasting Survivors, but for Gamble Comics to first break even and then inevitably turn a profit, because I do believe that at some point, now my barometer, my guide, if you will, my example that I look toward is the fact that Stan Lee did not create Spider-Man until he was 40, because the year that Spider-Man turned 50, Stan Lee turned 90. So I have 2 years to meet the Stan Lee benchmark of creating a hit. I mean, no pressure, right? But the upside is that even if I don't have a hit, let's say that BC Brute comes out and I don't quite break even, well, when Grim-Out and Lady Reaper come out, if it breaks even, if it then makes money, or the funny thing, because the goal behind introducing the new floppy comics is that something will hit, whether it be BC Brute or Grim-Out and Lady Reaper, United and the Unhinged, live action role-playing Ace, whatever the case may be, Lionheart of Humanity, all the above. The reason that each one of these characters getting the floppy comic treatment is so that when something hits, the goal, the hope, the dream, the desire, the mission, is that you will then take your enjoyment, your love for that said story, that character that you picked up, and then move backwards and go and want to have the entire Gamble Comics library in your possession. And when that time comes, that's what will then be the catalyst to have more products coming out. Because whether it be talking with Adam Fields about getting trading cards, or knowing that I have a friend who has a 3D printer and the capability to create miniature statue action figures of the heroes, no matter how you look at it, there is potential in the products from Gamble Comics, and not to be braggadocious, but the characters that I have conceived, I feel like are very toyetic, as they call it, and very relatable. That's the one component that I really try to bring to all stories, is to make them approachable human beings. Now, granted, yes, they have odd things about them, but if you can feel like you could know this person, then that's a mission accomplished. And so thank you for tuning in to this mission statement revisited. Come back all week for more content from Mr. Super Oz. Thank you for tuning in to the channel. It exists because I, Oz, from the channel Mr. Super Oz, I wrote a 68-page graphic novel called Everlasting Survivors. Volume 1 is called All Day Long. If you follow the link in the description of this video, you can get yourself hats, shirts, posters, all kinds of fun things. But most importantly, you can get the story itself. And the more people that pick up the story, the greater the chances are that there can be continued adventures with these heroes. If you could, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, leave a comment,